What is going on, guys? Mobile Carrier News here. So in this article, it basically explains why T-Mobile is shutting down their Sprint's 3G and 4G network. And we basically all know why, but I'm going to go into better depths into why they're doing this. So obvious reason number one, the reason T-Mobile is shutting down Sprint's 3G and 4G networks is because T-Mobile basically bought out Sprint. Now, Sprint was the fourth largest major carrier in the United States back then. They had thousands upon thousands on towers that were used for 3G and 4G LTE. Now, keep in mind, Sprint didn't have really the best network back then. I did hear they did have good. Their network was pretty good for a while, until they were having issues with their CEOs and the whole network. The whole company was about to bankrupt. They used to be in the stock market and they were $1 billion company, but they were struggling, and Sprint was struggling pretty bad. If I remember correctly, Sprint could only do good in some areas, and unfortunately, Sprint didn't have the money to upgrade all their towers. That's why they were lacking in coverage and some speeds. It just all depended. Their plans weren't honestly the great. They had the most expensive plans. I remember their unlimited data plans where it went from $80 to $90 a month, and this was before Verizon ever charged their current price right now, 80 to 90. They Sprint had the most expensive plans, and they had hotspot, but it wasn't really that good. They would only have maybe 20 and not more. It's because they didn't really have the money for it. Now, with the merger, what T-Mobile is going to be doing is they're going to be shutting down Sprint's 3G and 4G slash LTE networks, and they're going to be converting those towers into T-Mobile networks. Now, the shutdown is going to happen next year in 2022, I believe in January, and then also in the middle of the year. So we do expect those shutdowns to be official. That's why T-Mobile is trying to contact many Sprint customers and get them on the network. Now, this is very interesting because what T-Mobile promised is they weren't going to force people to switch their plans or leave the Sprint network. But to be honest, I can't tell if that was honestly a lie from T-Mobile or if that was temporary. I honestly don't think T-Mobile gave people a heads up about that, because T-Mobile specifically told Sprint customers, you're not going to change your plans. You get to keep them. You get to keep your current plan, your current service, which is great. But I don't know if T-Mobile didn't tell their current Sprint customers that was going to be temporary, or you had to switch to T-Mobile's network because they're going to be shutting down Sprint's 3G and 4G service. So I can't tell if this is like an oddball for T-Mobile, because they're going to be shutting down the networks. And unfortunately, it does sound like customers do have to go on T-Mobile's network in order to use their service, because with Sprint's 3G and 4G networks being shut down, they're going to be converted to basically T-Mobile sites, macro sites, and basically T-Mobile services, aka towers. So T-Mobile is, I believe, a quarter third there to getting all the customers up in line. I did hear some customers are leaving. I heard the Sprint merger did go pretty. It did get pretty horrible, with service. Not sure if that's just their 2 cents, or if I want to believe the whole story. But for me, service wasn't really good with T-Mobile, just because it's California. It's not really good. I live in the SoCal area, so it's not really good in here. But with the merger, completed, and them shutting down the towers, I expect customers of T-Mobile to have current issues? Yes, I do, but it's only temporary. But the thing is, though, I'm not really sure how long it'll take them to convert all those towers to T-Mobile sites, because if I recall, Sprint has thousands upon thousands of sites that they have to convert. They have to get many engineers they have to completely remodel old Sprint 3G and 4G towers, and they have to switch the backhaul. They have to switch all their bands. They have to basically get new equipment, and they have to also, I believe, get more what are those things called again for towers? Basically more more like connections. Yeah, basically more connections and like more bandwidth and spectrum for their tower sites. So I do expect that to take a long time. I'm gonna give it maybe a year. I'm gonna say maybe by 2023 they'll be fully completed because Sprint has thousands of 3G sites and 4G LTE sites. So it's gonna take them a while. It's not gonna take them a couple months because I do recall Sprint's coverage. They have a lot of towers. They have many towers that will help T-Mobile's network in the end. Don't get me wrong. T-Mobile's network will have a better range and better coverage of service. It's just going to take a while for T-Mobile to accomplish that because with the merger, just because it's somewhat complete doesn't mean it's going to be, 100%, 100%, deployed. It's still going to take some time for T-Mobile to get everything situated. I believe T-Mobile is going to have a really good network, a really good 5G service, and with them converting all the 3G and 4G networks to T-Mobile sites, it will really help their service. I'm not really too sure about current Sprint customers because I guess they like Sprint's service. It's just I guess people like different service carriers. I'm not gonna judge them on that. I wouldn't want to do that because people could like AT&T service and they prefer Verizon or T-Mobile over that. But the fact that some Sprint customers are going to switch to a different service because I guess they said T-Mobile ruined their service, which I'm not going to argue about that. It's their own preference. If the service it went from good to bad, it's like either they can go to T-Mobile when T-Mobile says come to us, or they can go somewhere else. It's a free of choice to go to. But I don't really think it's T-Mobile's fault because with their merger, things like this are bound to happen. So, but only temporary. So I don't think it's a huge cause of an issue. I mean, if I honestly believe like if you think Sprint was a good service for you, good. But I mean, if T-Mobile's saying you need to go to our service just to have better service again, I mean, you pretty much don't have much of a choice because Sprint is basically non-existent at this point. As soon as all the Sprint 3G and 4G towers are converted to T-Mobile towers, Sprint's gone. And they've been gone, but as soon as those towers are gone, T-Mobile's forever gone. It's going to be part of T-Mobile. Sprint was a billion-dollar company, but now it's owned by T-Mobile. So what customers have to debate on now is either go to T-Mobile to get basically your service back up and running, or you go to AT&T and Verizon. It's just honestly how it is. I mean, Sprint was on the verge of bankruptcy. If Sprint was not bought by T-Mobile, they would probably be bought by not bought. Sorry, they'd probably be filing for bankruptcy 11 or Chapter 7, whatever they want to call it. They'd be filed for bankruptcy, and the company would be non-existent. I'm honestly glad T-Mobile bought them. That way, T-Mobile could expand their service. But if you had a good experience with Sprint, that's great. I'm glad for the people that had Sprint, that had a good service, that had fast speeds. But it's time to move on because T-Mobile is the control here. Either you can go to T-Mobile or you can go to a different service. It's honestly up to the consumer of who currently has Sprint. But let me know what you guys think about this. I do believe by 2023, Sprint's network will be up and running to really good capacity once these 3G and 4G Sprint sites are converted to T-Mobile sites. What do you guys think about this? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.